Never forget
Dude.
it, man. If you woke up this morning, you won. If you got breath in your lungs to bitch, you got breath to be grateful for. Keep fucking winning. June 11th, Penn Treaty Park in Philadelphia. These paintings and more, I got a whole family of them. I'm going to bring them there. And then after that, Myers Made It is going to start doing some like regular drops because I want to be able to share this shit with y'all. So tap in with me, Myers Made It on Instagram. Hopefully website coming soon. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what's like kind of cool about all this, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just doing it. I'm just trying to follow the path, follow my heart. It's been leading me to cool places so far. So anybody, if you're in my position, you're not sure what the fuck you should do, follow your gut. It never lies to you. Love yourself. Again, appreciate you so much, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome to the Free Yourself podcast. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Janni, and I am naked. And today we have another beautiful, inspirational, amazing guest, my man, Nick Myers, aka Myers Made It, an incredible, incredible artist out of the Philadelphia area. I am so grateful to have you on the podcast, brother.
Hey man, appreciate you. Super grateful to be here. Just a cool opportunity. Looking forward to talk, man, to chat. This is gonna be cool. I'm with it, yeah. I woke up this morning. I won. You'll probably hear me say that like 100 times throughout the podcast, and I just keep fucking winning, and that's the goal, yeah. That's the goal.
I'm so happy you said that because I saw it in your bio, and I was like, this is one of my favorite. I was a guest. I had my buddy Brian May on. He's a chiropractor, and I've known him for a long time. And I went on his podcast, and we were talking about gratitude and things like that, and like what has like made the biggest impact and change in your life. And it was that switch that I made. And there was a video that I saw that said, this guy was like, what if I gave you $100,000, but you won't wake up tomorrow? And everyone was like, no, like what? And then he was like, what about $1 million? And they were like, well, no, because like I won't wake up. And then he's like, what about $10 million? And they're like, no, like, what do you mean? And he was like, so as soon as you realize that waking up is worth more than anything in the world, your life will change forever. And I'm so happy that right in your bio says, if you woke up today, you won. Because that's it. That's freaking it, man.
That's like, it's like my motto. It's my motto, yo. Like, and it means everything to me. I always like tell people, I'm like, yo, I'm going to make woke up you won like as big as just do it, because it's like gratitude. It's everything. And it really like, it stems from a time in my life where I really did not feel like, you know, like waking up was a victory, you know, just living like so reckless and whatnot. And it's like, now, you know, when that like moment hit, you know, and the circumstances that happened in my life, like I said, when I realized like that's all that I had was like, yo, I woke up and I'm like, well, I have that for today. Let's fucking, you know, let's get another win tomorrow. And we just keep fucking stacking wins. Like, and again, just that gratitude, it really like can change your life. You know, you can look around the room and find like 100 things that are wrong. I could look around the room and find 200 things that are amazing. And it's just like, you know, that perspective. So yeah, that's
absolutely, man. I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and he was talking about how he feels like the last year and a half at his job was wasted because he didn't get this promotion, and he spent all this time. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this person's not seeing it. Cause like, that just means that thing wasn't meant for him, because there's something else that's better that's going to come into his life, unless he doesn't realize that, because your reality is whatever you perceive, right? Whatever your perception is your reality. And I told him about the story of the Chinese proverb about the farmer who, he's his son, like his horse or whatever, that was pulling the plow, broke his leg or whatever. And then, so then his son had to pull, or no. It was his horses broke out of the stable or whatever. And he had no horses, and people came to him and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. And he was like, maybe. And then the horses that came back with a whole pack of wild horses. And now we had a whole bunch of horses. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And he's like, maybe. So then his son was trying to tame one of these wild horses and broke his leg and now was paralyzed, or broke his back and was now paralyzed. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. And he's like, maybe. And then the army came around for the draft, and they wouldn't take his son because his son was paralyzed. So then everyone comes to the town and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You get to keep your son. And he's like, maybe. And the whole point of the story is like, nothing is ever good or bad. It's your perception of what happens.
Yo,
that's it. It's nothing's good or bad. Thinking is what makes it so.
And it can sound like so raw sometimes, because obviously, you know, like as humans, and like there's things that they make you feel bad, or, you know, again, like they are perceived as bad, and like, but it really totally all does come down to your perception of everything. And I do believe, like you said, everything leads to another. Like, you know, you wouldn't be that person, you wouldn't have that insight, that knowledge, that whatever it is, if you didn't go through these steps. And like, you can't skip them. Like, life doesn't do that. You know, you'll run into the same wall. It'll smack you in the face 1,000 times until you like get it. Can't climb over it. Like, but if, again, you understand and you do keep that perspective, like, yo, I just got to, you know, kind of keep going. You said everything, it leads to the next. And it can be hard. It can be challenging. You know what I mean? I don't like, it's simple, but not easy. That's easy.
That's it. Almost everything in life is simple, but not easy, right? Like music production can be simple. You just got to put the instruments in. You got to EQ them right. You got to put the limiter on at the end. So the volume, like all these like little things that are very simple, but it's not easy to do. It's not easy to go through all these processes. It's the art that you do behind you. It's beautiful. It looks incredibly difficult, but someone who's used to it, who's like, you just get in that creative flow and you just do it. It's almost, at this point, it might feel simple to you, but to everyone else is looking at that like, how the fuck did you do that?
And I appreciate that. And like, yo, right. So I brought these because like, I think this is just like a cool, like just lesson for people and shit. Like you said, in the background, these paintings, I'm proud of these paintings. They look fucking cool, right?
Hell yeah.
This is like a little painting that I did like 6 months ago when I first started. And like, art is art, you know, it's like, it's cool, it's whatever. But like, you know, this was like 6 months ago. And that, like, this is the shit that I've like been doing. And my whole point to that is like, yo, if you're like passionate about something and you really like something and you enjoy it, go for it. Like, do it and just stick with it. Like you said, it's simple, not easy. But just keep going for it, yo. Just keep trying your best. Don't get discouraged. Just go hard with it. Again, like, if you're enjoying it, doesn't matter what else anybody's saying about it. Like, just, you know, do you. And like, if that shit makes you happy, you see it making other people happy and shit, like, rock the fuck out, yo. Like, rock the fuck out. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. It's been cool. It's been fun, like you said. And at this point, it is like simple. Like you said, it's almost like second nature, and it's cool. It's a great way for me to just express like emotions and stuff like that. And I think that's why I really like this medium of art, because it doesn't like make sense. And in my brain sometimes, like, shit doesn't make sense, dude. And it doesn't have to make sense like all the time. You know what I mean? When you look at it, like, you're just staring at it like, yo, what is this kind of, and like, that's the whole point. Like, you know, sometimes we got to get outside of this box. Like, you know, life puts us in this like doom, 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 doom. And we got You gotta free yourself, yo. You gotta free yourself.
Like, that's you
gotta free yourself sometimes, yo. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, but that really is it, man. Like when you find a passion that it gets you out of bed, and you put everything into it, and you look at it when you're done, or you listen to it and say it's music, and when you're done, or when anything that you're putting, your heart and soul into, when you're done, you sit back, and it's just like this overwhelming, like calm, happiness, peace, freedom. And you get that. It's like the when you meditate, it's those the places in between the thoughts, because even the most devout monks that are meditating 12 hours a day, working 6 hours a day, and then sleeping the rest, even they still have thoughts when they're meditating. That's not the point. Meditating is not that you get to this point where there's no thoughts and you're like, and it's those little spaces in between those and the thoughts. It's like the ultimate peace. And when you can translate that into art, you can translate that into doing the dishes, and you can translate that into cleaning your room, into your drive on your way to work. Like, that's when mindfulness becomes the practice throughout your daily life. And then, like, the things that happen that we can perceive as good or bad, we're more at a more calm state when they happen. So we don't jump to the immediate, oh my God, this is terrible, I'm freaking out, I don't know what I'm going to do. And like anxiety. Chris DiStefano, he's a comedian. He was just talking about it. He just got on Rogan for the first time. It was like a big deal because he got his special to Netflix and like made this huge following, and like was one of the comedians that never got on Rogan. And like now he's finally on it, and like he's crushing it, and he's doing, he got the, the Rogan bump before he got on Rogan. You know what I mean? Like he did all that on his own. And he was talking about anxiety, and he's like, I really think anxiety is like the ultimate narcissism, because all you're doing when you have anxiety is thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about anybody else or the experience around you. It's always about why. It's the woe is me. It's the ultimate woe is me. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me, or like, what if this is going to happen? It's like, you're just stuck up here.
It's like, it is, dude. It's like a huge ego trip. And that's something that I've really had to like deal with. And really been like, I've been having like success with, because like you kind of said, it's, you get in this mindset of like, woe is me. And all of a sudden I'm like, why does it, is the world going to fall down on me? Why is it like, what I mean? Why does it have to be again about me? Like you said, why? Things are going to be okay. Like, get out of your own head. Again, you're not going to be the center of it. You're not the center of fucking attention all the time. Not everybody's going to notice what's going on with Nick Myers and and you're totally right. Like you said, dude, that like narcissist, our ego, dude, we need it. I listen to a lot of Mike Tyson, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. Great podcast. Great podcast. He talks about it all the time. He's like, dude, you need your ego. Like, it's something that we need. It kind of tells us who we are, but at the same time, we can't allow it to get in our way. Like, for sure, because it can't. Dude, like you said, dude, why is everything gonna happen to me? Like, it's not everything's about fucking me. Like, stop worrying, dude. Like you said, there's so much other shit going on.
Yeah. And everybody that and this is, I'm also saying this as someone who has gone through the whole process of crippling anxiety and nervous around people. And like, now what I do is have my shirt off and I talk to people you know what I mean? Like, this wasn't easy. Doing the podcast, coming on here, it's not easy. Like, this is stuff that I've worked hard at. I listen to a lot of podcasts, not just because I like podcasts, because I'm trying to figure out how to get better. My last promotional post that I did is completely different than the other ones that I did, because what did I do? I looked at one of the top podcasts, and I looked at how they were promoting their podcast, and I was like, they have millions of followers. I should be if they're doing that, I should probably be doing it,
Right.
obviously it's not the same thing, right? It's completely different people, completely different subject. Well, actually, that time it just so happened to be the same subject because I had a comedian on and it was a comedian's podcast. I was like, so like it's kind of, but you know what I mean? Like it is different. Obviously, it's a different podcast, different people. But it was just funny. Like and you know, the Instagram algorithm, whatever. Like I've gotten to a point, and like some days better than others. Like you said, like it doesn't matter how many people are coming on and watching and seeing this, the views. Like the point is that I love doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it. Like it's as simple as that. And like whatever happens. I know that I'm really proud of like what people don't know that it takes me 6 or 7 hours to edit and put up a podcast and think of the posts to make. Like it takes a lot of time. It's not just this like hour conversation that I have with people, you know,
right.
But I love it. I love it. So like, I'm going to keep doing it, you know? And then for you with art, you just showed your progression over 6 months, 6 months, dude.
Thank you. And that's all it is. Just trying to stay consistent. And again, because I love it, it's easy like to want to wake up and do it every day. And in the past, I would always be like hesitant kind of to share my art or whatever. Again, I'm like, all right, it's cool. I like it. Like I do it for myself and whatnot. But being able to finally like just be comfortable enough within myself, and also meeting just so many like inspirational like people, meeting people like you, meeting people like you said, like Ty, like Phil, Hef, you know, Sam, all, you know, just guys like that. And when you just see like, again, they're just doing their thing, you're just kind of like, yo, like that inspires you, like, yo, let me like do my thing. You know what I mean? And then to get that support and everything, like it's cool. So just being able to, you know, put myself out there, I just try and post the art. I don't even like love social media and whatnot because like it's always that like back and forth, but the way that you can connect with people and again, like, you know, share things and stuff like that, it's been really cool. So definitely like, you know, just trying to stay consistent with that. And like you said, when you love it, it's pretty easy to, you know, to stay on top of it. Like you said, is it hard work? Absolutely. You know, I'm down here mixing paints and shit. I'm at Hobby Lobby and Michael's every other day, but it's cool. You know, it's fun. I've ruined paintings, dude. I ruined clothes, you know, I got cleaning shit all the time. But like when you get that moment, that like aha moment, and I look down there and it's like, you know, the paint, it dries nice. The varnish goes on the way you want it. You know, the paint's, it's just like that feeling. It's worth all that work. And you get, it's like anything else in life. Just the more you do it, you just stay consistent, kind of have faith in yourself. You will get better. You'll get better at it. You know, it takes time. It's not an overnight thing, but stick with it. Keep doing your damn thing, and you never know, you know, what could happen. I've been doing it for like, again, 6 months, and I was lucky enough. I was in my first art show in my hometown a couple weeks ago, and that was like, it was like an official type of like art show. And again, in the past, it was on 2-day notice. They had the wrong phone number for me. So they're like calling me for like 3 weeks, trying to like inviting me to the show, finally get the right info. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go for it. Never done one in my entire life. Don't know what I'm doing, but I'm like, you know, I'm gonna figure it out. So again, just having those opportunities, like, you know, my higher power, just like putting that stuff in front of me, I feel like it's almost my duty. Like I have to take advantage of this. I have to try to, you know what I mean? I can't just like be timid forever. You know, I'm like, I really am like I'm an outgoing person, but I'm a shy dude. I'm really, you know, like to myself a lot. So it's been really cool to try and, you know what I mean, kind of to break out and spread out, and like the opportunities being laid in front of me. Like I said, June 11th, we're having a party in the park, Penn Treaty Park in Philly. Which, speaking of Ty Salone, it's like, it's one of these really cool things how just like the universe, it just works. And if you listen, shit just like comes together. I met Ty through a friend, cool ass dude. You know, we just would have run into each other in the city, always at house shows, stuff like that. Shout out house music. That shit changed my life. So like, cool. We would link up. He ends up inviting me to one of his boys' like event, and I happened to be out of town that weekend, but got his boys like information, cool, da. So then he ends up hitting me up about this party in the park thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to do this shit. And then the date ends up, I see Ty post yesterday that he's doing his residency, which I saw you post about. And he starts on the same date that we're doing the party in the park after. So it's just like, the way that shit just all like connects and coincides. And again, like I met Ty maybe, half a year ago or whatever. And just, again, there's relationships and connections. And just, I think if you just like true to yourself, you go and do the things that you love to do. You just show genuine love. You have faith in the universe. Like things will just it puts you in the places that you're supposed to be. It'll put you around the people, that you're supposed to be. You just got to be you. Like love yourself enough to be you, like out the fuck loud. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
And that will literally, like, people will appreciate that. Like there's a place for everybody on this universe. Like, I really believe that. So you just said you got to love you. So that's just cool. Like I said, I thought it was really cool how, again, the universe, if you listen, that shit talks to you. It talks to you. 100%.
Absolutely. Oh my. And the universe is a mirror. So like what we were talking about before, it's like, if you look at a situation and you see the bad in it, like that's only because you're seeing the bad in it. But if you come and you bring your energy and your individuality to a situation, like it's going to bring out the individuality of the other people around you. And it's only going to make people more comfortable with themselves, that they can be themselves. And like, it's everything's freaking connected, man.
That right there this is a commercial for house music.
Yeah.
House music I'm so serious too when I say it, like it's changed my life, because what you described is the environment that it breeds. It's everybody just like free to be themselves. And when you look around a room and you're just like, everybody's just being them, like you totally said, it inspires you and just like gives you that confidence, and it makes you just, you said, you're like, cool, I can just be me too. Again, I can dig into my passions, bring out my creative ability, whatever, if I want to go out on the dance floor and fucking dance my ass off, like, you can do that or whatever. Dude, if you want to come over and just sit in the corner and just bop your head, you can do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's something like for everybody. So just that type of environment, it really does. It's uplifting. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of love. Plus the music is just fucking nothing. Dude, like it.
126 beats per minute is like the perfect fucking, maybe even 124,
Nothing like it, dude.
It's tech house hand.
That's it, yo. You can see Ciroc right now.
Hell yeah. Dude, and so house music is a big part, obviously, of my story, right? It's like I got into electronic music back in the, the Skrillex, Deadmau5, Afrojack, Tiesto, and that. It was 2009, 2010-ish, when everything was like just coming out and just
first like, popping off.
Yeah, it was like, what is this stuff? And like before that, it was like just weed, alcohol, and some Adderall in my life. And I told the whole story to myself, like, oh, MDMA is this pure thing, and it's okay to do it. Like I made another rule. I said I would never do this. I'll never do coke because it's with this and that. And I just told myself a lie that MDMA was this pure substance. And so then I started doing, harder drugs and stuff. And it led down a dark path. And like, I made that, obviously that post about it, and you saw it, and it led to, the felony drug charges. And like, it was in that moment when I first had, I remember, sitting in that jail cell and just being like, God, like, how could you do this to me? Like, if you're real, like, I'm a good person. Like, how could this terrible thing happen to me? Right. And then fast forward, even just 2 weeks, like going into, AA and NA meetings and like finding these beautiful people and like telling me like, that's all you got arrested for? Like, that's not like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, this is the end of the world. And they're like, psh. I done 15 years. I did this. And my life is beautiful and great. And like finding all these people and then realizing, you fast forward freaking 2 years later. And within 2 years, I had never, opened Ableton, but I had 2 top 10 tracks on Beatport in Bass House with my boy Chris D'Souza. And like, and I opened for Bingo Players and Laid Back Luke and Dioro, like 3 of my biggest inspirations. I opened for Buku, shout out Buku and Janston. I was able to do all these things. I traveled out to Electric Forest on the Jenga bus, and me and him, we all did sets out with the Good Sex crew. I met the Panky Rain crew. Like it led to all these beautiful, incredible things. And like looking back, like especially now, going almost 8 years later, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like it changed my life so much. And like, I don't know if I would be here right now if it wasn't for that. Like I might have died if I hadn't stopped doing what I was doing. Like, so just going back to that, like nothing's ever good or bad. Like you have to see what happens. It's what you do after it. And like, and as soon as I, asked you to be on the podcast, like this is exactly what I wanted to get into. I wanted to talk to you about, the story of you going through a similar, thing. And cause I see you now and it's like, and people see me now and they're like, are you, what? Like that's what happened. And it's like, it's this mind blowing thing. And house music and the community we've built through the graffiti peer shows and like, and, then Realty Records coming along with Sam and Hef and like all these incredible people that we've beautiful, amazing artists that we've connected with have like built something that, we didn't ever see coming, right? Like it was just, there's so many people that all love and support each other through everything. And now like, it's led to me meeting incredible people like you and having you on the podcast, and you have a similar story. So I really want to, let you tell, your kind of transformation and dark place that happened and all that.
Absolutely, yo. And you just even before I get into that, like you said, I think that the scene that we're building, like in the city right now, it's so much just love going on. There's just so many local guys that just support each other. And that's how, like, I've just met so many cool people, and it's just through each one. Like you go somewhere and like, oh yeah, I know that's my friend, da, 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 da. And they're just really cool people, you know what I mean? And just, you wind up, you might be from the same hometown, this, that, and the third. It's just like, it's really cool. So yeah, that scene, it's a lot of love. That's why I like it. But yeah, dude, very like similar story. And honestly, my story is not even one of total sobriety. That's like a disclaimer, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be like, it's not part of my story right now. Definitely there's times of that. However, yeah, dude, there was just a time in my life where I had a lot of things just going on at home, a lot of personal things. And I was like trying to figure out who the fuck I was, like as a man, as a dude. I didn't know. I didn't want to go to college, but I was smart enough to go to college. My parents, they wanted me to go to college, my dad especially. So I went. After a year of that, it was like the most depressing shit ever. I went to University of Maryland. Shout out all the homies I've met there, lifelong friends. I have some like boys who they really like got me through that year. I don't know like what I would have done without them. But making that decision to leave, I think that was one of the first times though in my life where I made a decision like for myself. And I was like, I need to do what I can. Because if I were to stay there another year, I don't know like that I would have made it through. So I come home, but I'm still fucked up. I'm still trying to figure out who I am. I still don't know what's going on. And yeah, dude, I just started making a lot of bad choices. My drug of choice was Xanax. Don't do fucking Xanax. This is not good, bad, just really bad. And it was an it felt like a solution for me, you know, at the time. Like it felt like a solution. Going out for me at the time was a total escape from life. Um, and yeah, lo and behold, next thing you know, you're sitting in the jail cell and you're looking at the felony, you know, the felony charges. And it's not a good feeling. And you said it earlier, but at that moment, I'm like, oh, look, my life is over. I said, yeah, this is the worst day of my life. My life is over. Like the jig is up. Um, it's all downhill from here. At that moment, you realize, like, what do you mean it's all downhill from here, bro? You've been going downhill. Like, what do you mean from here? From here? What? What? Have you seen what's been happening? Like, so here you are, and again, dude, just that perspective. Whether is it good, is it bad? And for me, it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Me and my dad were at a point in time where we had like no relationship. Here's what happens. He had been through similar situations in his life. So it's kind of like, that shit happened to him so he could step into his son's life and be like, yo, bro, I love you. You need help. And I was able to go and get help. He said, I'm looking at all these felony charges. I went to rehab for 2 months, just worked on myself, dude. Just like really put in the work, took that time to just really like focus. And I really do urge anybody, whether you go to therapy, whether you again need to go to inpatient, whether you need to go to out, whatever it's for, I really do urge people to just go and get help. There's nothing wrong with it, especially like I would say as men. There's nothing like we go through a lot of shit. We carry a lot of weight. Yo, you gotta like my dad used to always say as a kid, you gotta unload the backpack. Like, we're walking around with fucking bricks and shit like that, bro. I know you're strong and I know you, but like, bro, just take some fucking bricks out and like you're cool. Like you can carry that shit. So yeah, dude, I went through that and similar like you said, dude, the judge just saw the work that I was doing, saw what I was how I was really trying to take shit seriously. When you're kind of in a facility like that and you see people that are like 60 years old and they're still making excuses and they're still like, yeah, I don't know how I got here. And like, my wife's a bitch. She made me come here and like, I'm going to do it for a week and dip. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't like, I really can't, and I understand like, people are battling, like for sure. You know what I mean? It's a real battle and I'm not taking that away from anybody, but it just comes a certain point in your life where you gotta make those changes for yourself. And it really starts from like self-love. Like you have to love you enough to be like, yo, I'm really gonna put my head down again. I'm gonna do the things that are best for me. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. You're doing things that are gonna benefit yourself. You're not used to it because you're so used to abusing yourself. You're so used to shitting on yourself that, being nice to you and taking care of yourself like kind of feels weird at first. You're like, you say you don't even know if like you deserve that, but you do. Like, you know what I mean? You do. And we all go through shit. We all do, but like, we're all redeemable. You know what I mean? We're all redeemable. You have to have forgiveness. So yeah, dude, I ended up on like drug court, which was it's a tough thing. And I was really glad though, dude. I had friends that you lose a lot of friends because I was a shitty person, but it's part of life. That happens. So grateful, so blessed though that the ones that are in my life, that were there through it all, they've seen me through it all, my family, my fucking mom, like she's my rock. She rocks out for me, my dad, all that shit. Like, so just grateful to have that support. And to be able to get through that, to graduate it, to be up there and have my drug court diploma and shit like that, it's cool. But then for a long time, I still felt like I was so like scared, I think, of like anything, of like going out. I still wasn't comfortable being myself necessarily or whatever. I went through that. And that's where, like you said, do the house shit, man, it really has changed my life. Like that's where I feel like I'm at home. And I've been blessed I've always been a music person. And I've had friends, like you said, dude, back in the day, again, when the Skrillex and all that shit was first popping off. We made a rap in high school, and I think the beat that we used was like bass head or some shit like that. So like with dabbling it from time to time, but having some friends that really like put me on in the past couple of years and whatnot, and then like going out and stepping in that community and seeing that shit, it was like, yo, there's fucking nothing. There's nothing like this shit. There's absolutely like nothing like it. So yeah, it's been really cool. It's been really cool. But yeah, the journey's been it's been a fun one, man, and it's part of life. I really want I encourage anybody, no matter what you're going through, to just like keep the faith. Like keep the faith in yourself. I think a lot of going through my transition was really like finding a sense of spirituality. And it doesn't have to be, it's not religion based. If that's what works for you and everything, like that's totally cool. You got to find what works for you, but it's just a sense of spirituality. We kind of talked about the anxiety and like the ego and shit. And a lot of the spirituality is like, there's something greater than me. Like I don't control everything. I don't control everything. And it's nuts because actually the less that I try to control, the greater things are. When I've just kind of like, when I've just fallen back and whatnot, like, again, dude, I do our show here. We're going to do this one. You invite me on the podcast, just like letting things go, just, going to shows and shit, meeting people. And it's like, shit just works out. Like, but it's a big part of that is having faith just in a higher power. I remember again being in rehab, and even people would start with shit as simple as like the ocean, but you can't stop the waves. You know what I mean? You can't put your they're coming and they're going no matter what, dude. Like if you get out of bed tomorrow, whatever, they're going to continue to go. Like there's greater forces in this earth than us, which is a blessing. It's a blessing because like life is so fucking beautiful. It's so cool. So much shit happens that I could never write that script. Like I could never write a script as cool as life actually happens. Like, movies are cool and shit like that, but like, have you living? Living is fucking dope. Like dude, living is dope.
Just like when people, I'll keep it on me. If I'm like caught up in my head, like just the simplest thing as like reaching out to someone, not even if I talk about the issue that I'm going through, just taking the focus off of me and seeing how they're doing makes my problem seem like nothing, makes me forget about it, takes me outside of myself. And we talk, the ego has been brought up quite a bit in this podcast. And like ego in Latin means I am. It's just as simple as that. So like Mike Tyson says, like we do need the ego. Like it's us. Like it is us. But we have to know when we're caught up in here, and like when this happens the most is like late at night, right? Like I'll be I've done everything I need to for the day, and like I'm laying down and I'm about to go to bed, and like I'm really exhausted, and I'm like, you know what, like I could have done more today. Like I could have done X, Y, and Z, and like it would have set me up for better for the future. And like I saw someone, like it was just like a simple post. It was like, don't trust anything that you tell yourself after 10 p.m. And it's like just like as simple as that. And I was like, it's like, yeah, because hungry, angry, lonely, tired, depressed, resentful, anxious, guilty. Halt the drag. If you are feeling any of those emotions, nothing that's going through your head is good, right? Like, but
for real,
if I can halt the drag that is that emotion, whether it be hungry, I can eat food. Angry, why am I angry? Can I do anything about it? Well, I can apologize, or I literally can't do anything about it, so I have to let it go.
Right.
Lonely, am I really lonely, or do I just want to get laid? Am I lonely or am I horny?
Right, for real.
Am I tired? Well, maybe I've worked really hard and I need some freaking rest. Am I depressed? Why am I depressed? Usually depression is just thinking about the past, right? So like, what am I doing right now? Move a muscle, change a thought. Like, is there something I can do now to get me out of my head so I'm stop thinking about the past? Resentful. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one.
That's a huge
that one is probably the one that has given me the most trouble in my life. Not because people might think of that as anger or depression, but resentment. Like, when you really resent someone, like just saying you resent someone has so much more of a powerful, you feel it.
You hold it. So it's something where you hold it so deep, and it sucks because it has this control over you, and you don't even realize it. Like, you know what I mean? If you're holding these deep resentments and stuff like that, or you could be around somebody and your whole energy is just off because these it's more than anger. Like you said, you're not even, that's just deep.
Well, here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. I have no reason to dislike Drake, but I have this resentment in my head because when Drake first dropped that mixtape and TORONTODRAKE is me, and you know how the story goes, like that fire fucking mixtape. My buddy Josh, we're sitting up at the DJ booth at the PodCap basement in Westchester University, where I went to school, where you live, where you're from.
Yes, sir. Shout out to MC.
Sitting up there, he puts on that song, City is Mine. Everybody's just like, what is this? And I just look at Josh, and Josh just goes, yo, this guy's going to be the biggest rapper that you ever heard in 6 months. And all of you are going to be dancing to this song. And right now you just don't know it. So now you're not dancing. And he says it. And I've had this resentment against everyone for not seeing it. Like Josh saw, he was the one that showed me the mixtape. He was the one that put me on to Drake. And Drake blew the fuck up, right? And this resentment is still somewhat inside me because like I'll listen to a Drake song and it's fire, right? Like I know that there's a reason why Drake is incredibly successful, if not the most successful rapper in history. Maybe Eminem actually has that title in terms of sales. I don't know, but he's up there, obviously.
For sure.
And we can say what we want about like so many rappers are more talented, whatever. The fact is that Drake makes fucking hits, right? So now
no one does it like
person. That. I gyp myself from enjoying Drake music. I gyp myself from This is like this was a big step in overcoming that resentment. There's a show on Netflix called Top Boy. Fire fucking show.
Fire in it.
My buddy told me to watch it. The opening credit comes up and it says produced by Drake. And I almost went, nah. I almost. I was like, oh, Drake's involved. And then I was like, you know what? My buddy said to watch it. I'm going to watch it. And I'm so happy I did. That show is fire. That show is so good. And so that was like a resentment. Any of these emotions that we talk about can happen to me at any given time. It's like, but now I'm at such a different place where I actually know what to do instead of playing the victim and saying, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's, I need to do something to get out of it. And man, there's the resentments that I had towards so many people have done nothing but hurt me. Right. Like that's it.
That's the key. I say this all the time, like love is free and like the hate will cost you, because
boom, mic drop right there.
Boom. Like, yo, the love is free and the hate will cost you, because like you said, you have these resentments and you're almost like, yo, I'm gonna not watch Top Boy. And just like realistically, yo, Drake already made his money off it. Those actors are doing their thing. I'm enjoying it. I don't know what I Am Naked is doing, but I'm enjoying it. And you're not, just because you're mad or whatever. And it's just that people do that in life all the time. They won't go here or do this. They won't hang out with this select group of people or these people they have. And it's like, you're just robbing yourself. Like, you are just robbing yourself. And then you're asking, why are you miserable and this and that? And it's like, yo, you gotta like love yourself enough to just love others freely. And that just, because the hate will cost you. Like you said, man, those resentments they'll have you bogged down. Like, they will really, really have you bogged down. And you're only hurting yourself. Like, you might think you're hurting others, and you can be, like, absolutely, you can be. But most importantly, like, you're going to be hurting yourself. So love, because it's free.
That's it, man.
That's it.
The more you act out of love, the more you show love, the more love you get. And like, love and connection is what anybody who is an addict is missing in their life. I'll keep it on me. There was so much of that actually around me, but I was pushing it away. I wasn't accepting it because I wasn't accepting myself. I had so many, my biggest resentment when I was in active addiction was against God, right? It culminated to me being in that jail cell and being like, God, what the fuck? Like, how could you do this to me? And like, I use God very loosely. I really like source. I like higher power. I like those words because there's so much. God is almost like too simple of a word, but it's so easy for me to say. So like, because it's tough to explain spirituality and like all these religions and stuff. And I do this a lot, I get off on tangents, but all these religions, they're all saying the same thing.
I'm like, they can't all be wrong. They're not all wrong. You know what I mean? And we're all saying the same thing. Like you said, I go with higher power. You say God, it's easy to say stuff because it's all the same.
Exactly. And at the center of all religions is what? Love everybody. Love yourself. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Like, so anybody who follows religion and then has hate towards another thing, like, you miss the whole point of your religion.
You're right.
Like, you miss the whole point.
Go back. For a wrap.
That's the stuff that blows my mind. Like,
me and Uncle were having that conversation like a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, it is human nature to love. Like, that's human nature. Like, we want to love, we want to care, we want to nurture. And I think as humans, as we go on and just the experiences in our lives, and again, not to minimize them or anything, but just those experiences, they change us in certain ways. And we have, again, these different experiences where now we have resentments towards this or towards that. You might have played soccer when you were 2 and you got cut from the team. Now you hate soccer for the rest of your life. Or whatever. It could be, something more dramatic. You know what I mean? You have, trauma that you go through for sure. And I can't tell people what to do. I just like pray, and I really hope healing for all like those people, because at the end of the day, if you're able to, again, get back to loving yourself and spreading that, like, that's what's gonna free you. Like, that's really, it is what's gonna free you and get you on track. The hate is not, it doesn't work. Again, like you've been saying, I'm going to bring it back to me. It never had served me. It never serves me. So being loving, like you said, that's natural to me. Anything other than that, I feel like it's going against myself, So I'm here for love, baby.
Dude, here's another great example. Like, in college, like, there was rivals between fraternities, and I heard of all these like stories of all these fights between fraternities. And when I was pledging, a certain fraternity came out onto the porch when us pledges were walking by, and they were like, fuck your fraternity pledges, blah, blah, blah. And our brothers came out and they defended us. And I'm standing there like watching this whole thing going. And it was like at that point where I was like, hold on. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to have a good time. We're all trying to make friends. We're all trying to get girls and sorority girls. Like, we're all trying to do this.
The same goal here.
Yeah. Like, and we all like the same shit. We're all, all right, keep it on me again, right? When I was younger, at any given time, I might see a person that's acting like a quote unquote douchebag. But in reality, I see a person that's acting like me having a great time. And I'm like, fuck that guy.
Bro, shit. Why the fuck is he okay with expressing and doing himself and I'm not?
And now you give me 5 minutes talking to that guy and he's probably going to be my best friend. Like,
that's my guy. Real bad.
So like my college experience was, by the time I was a junior, I could walk into any frat house and say what's up to any of the dudes, be welcomed with open arms, and have a good time at their parties. And I'm like, isn't this way better than fraternities fighting each other? And then take that a step further. What wound up happening was we would have what you call quad mixers. We would host another fraternity and 2 sororities. So now what did we do? We just doubled the amount of girls in our
right. Right. Like you say, common goal. Come together.
Yeah. And then a step further, the last 2 years that I was in college, we all together went down to Outer Banks, and there was like 4 fraternities and like 6 sororities that all went down together, and we all had a great freaking time partying together. Then the next year it went up in fraternities, it went to like 6 fraternities and 7 sororities. And we went to Myrtle Beach because Outer Banks wouldn't have us anymore because it was such a shit show. Like they literally said, Westchester University students can't come here anymore. So we went to Myrtle Beach, and it was during Black Biker Week, and it was the coolest freaking.
Yo, dude, my dad used to go to that all the time when I was a kid. He would come home with like spray painted T-shirts for Bike Week for me and shit. Shit's lit,
dude. And like we were like taking pictures with 1%ers and shit. Like these motherfuckers. I'm not even gonna say on
real
live
deal.
what they do. Like I'm not even gonna say it.
Can we say that on Zoom?
Yeah, I don't even know, dude. If I get shut down my YouTube or some shit. But like it led to this, like those 2 weeks like of my life. It was always the week after finals week in May that we would go down and we would all be partying together. And like we had some of the biggest fucking parties, some of the best freaking times. And like I'll never forget those. It's like we had the amount of people that are at a small music festival down there, but we knew everybody and we were all partying together for a week. Like incredible freaking memories. And now, like some of my closest friends from college, the people that I hang out with the most or that I talk to the most are like a couple guys in my fraternity, a couple guys in SAE. There's a couple guys that were in Sig Pi. And like I have all these, beautiful relationships with these people, all because like I was just like, we're the same. And like, why fighting sucks? Like I already got 3 fake teeth from freaking my life. I don't need to get more knocked out. I got a pretty face. I don't want to mess this up.
You got to keep that. You got to keep it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no freaking point. And to take it back to the whole community that we've built, like you said, like it's all based on like showing love and giving love. And it's more amazing than I ever thought it could be. Like it's incredible. Like
as humans, I don't care what anybody says. Like we have way more similarities than we do differences. Like no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, like we have more similarities than differences. And if we can look at those, similarities and get past those differences, try to like learn and understand the differences, respect those differences, because those are what makes us beautiful as like the human race, is that shit is different. Like that's what's fucking cool. So like if we can respect those differences and understand them, and then understand that at, the core of it, we're way more similar than anything else, then again, that community and that togetherness is awesome. And yeah, we're really, the city, I just say we, just because everybody collectively, as far as just artists, creatives, DJs, the venues, I think right now there's it's a great atmosphere. It's just a lot of, like you said, the house artists that just put each other on. Like the Impulse Party, dude. Again, when they had that first show, and have hit me up about that, and then just I saw again the people that they put together on the bill and everything, and I'm just like, yo, these are people that I've just met around the city in Philly from different events. They all then happen to know each other, be friends, and I'm just like, yo, this like the community of it is just like, it's crazy. It's cool to be able to go out on any given night and to run into somebody that you've been able to make a connection with at another time. Like that shit's dope. That's what's life like. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. That's what it's about,
dude.
So.
And I think one of the coolest parts about it is that it's not just house DJs hanging out with house DJs. Like it's house music, bass music, musicians. Like look at Bitsky, look at freaking Hippie Trap, like these guys that shred on the guitar. And then you've got all these incredible artists. From Graffiti Pier, the literal graffiti artists. We've got you in the painting that you do, Eyes Movie. Shout out to her. She's incredible.
Her shit is nuts. Dude, she's super talented.
Hell yeah. Her and Chem Dog Millionaire, her boyfriend, and they do all these collabs and stuff. And then you have all the flow artists, and it's not just like flow. To me, when I was just coming up, the only flow artist at music stuff was people with the gloves, right? Like that was it, right?
Right.
And then it just evolved into like so many different things. And now you got the Kendama crew, and they're all hanging out. And it's like, there's just so many different people that do so many different things, and we've all come together to build this like incredible circle of love.
And I owe so much of that, just like inspiration, to the art that I've been doing. Just again, people that I've met. One of my friends, shout out Rachel Davis. She fucking makes super dope art. She like just talking to her and shit. She's like, yeah, like I make art and like people buy it and it's cool. And she's like showing me this shit, and I'm just like, yo, this is a super down to earth, this super talented person, and you just make this super dope stuff. Like it's just so cool. Again, you just meet people, you see their work, and again, you're just like, yo, there's so many talented people. They're doing shit, they're just like super inspiring and whatnot. And like, I'm grateful for, again, meeting those people, being in an area where we have a community like that of just, creatives and people who are supportive, you know what I mean? And they do show love. I really feel like there is a lot of support just, locally within the city, not just like, again, from my longtime friends, but again, from people that you just meet and they're, just genuine and shit like that. So it's really cool. Super blessed for that. Super grateful. Life is dope, yo. Life is dope, man. And I think what we're building, man. I'm excited to see what everybody's doing. You got your health coaching going on now and whatnot. Your podcast is cool. Just the light that you bring, just everybody's doing so many really cool things. And it's dope. It's really dope.
Thank you, man. Well, this has been an incredible podcast. I can't wait to listen to this back through. There's so many like little gold nuggets. The freaking what was the love is free, hate'll cost.
Love is free, the hate'll cost. Never forget it, man. If you woke up this morning, you won. If you got breath in your lungs, the bitch, you got breath to be grateful for. Keep fucking winning. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity. June 11th, Penn Treaty Park in Philadelphia. These paintings and more, I got a whole family of them. I'm going to bring them there. And then after that, Myers Made It is going to start doing some like regular drops because I want to be able to share this shit with y'all. So tap in with me, Myers Made It on Instagram. Hopefully website coming soon. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what's like kind of cool about all this, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just doing it. I'm just trying to follow the path, follow my heart. It's been leading me to cool places so far. So anybody, if you're in my position, you're not sure what the fuck you should do, follow your gut. It never lies to you. Love yourself. Again, appreciate you so much, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Everybody, Myers made it. Look it up. Instagram, get his art. Support this beautiful, incredible artist. Look at that shit behind him. That shit is so freaking dope. So talented. So happy to know you. So grateful to have you on the podcast, brother. I love you to death. Man. And I will see you too, man.
Much love.
June 11th.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
party in the park.
Support this man and all the other beautiful artists that'll be there. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened.
Absolutely.
Love you guys so much. I love doing this, and the support that I keep getting from all these beautiful people from Philly it's blowing my mind. I'm so grateful for it. So
man, it's been a good one, my man. Super grateful for this. This was it was written. This was meant to be. I'm glad this was just another part of the step, man.
It hit me in the heart. It hit me in the heart there for a second. I had to take a second,
That's how it's supposed to be, man. Life is amazing. It is what it should be.
That's right, brother. To everyone, peace, love,
love,
respect.
Respect.
We're out.